aspect, which the big pro. Do you guys end up winning this game? I'm assuming. Yeah, you're gonna win right here.
Yes.
This team fight.
Yes.
Oh yeah, open X. Okay, that's game. Like the real issues.
Yeah, I mean,
are like because early on. Okay, first of all, early on, you guys play this lane well. Like you get the lead. Obviously, missing CS is an issue. Needs to be fixed. But like this is all right. This is all good. You get clear the minions. It's just even right now. It's pretty much has to be. It's just gonna be you and Xayah shoving. If you have Ricochet, you have a little bit more advantage in the shove because, I mean, think about it. If your Q hits a minion and Xayah, or even just Xayah and back, like at level 1, it's gonna do about the same amount of damage as if your Ricochet hits her 3 times, which it probably will, right? And what you're getting as a bonus is less. 1, it costs less mana. 2, it's harder for them to dodge because if you throw it into, like, if you're ricocheting the minion wave, they either have to just take it or they have to back off the wave, which now if she's standing down here, now Bran can just W her a lot easier, right? She's going in, or if she walks out of the wave like this, Bran can W her a lot easier. And he's not risking pushing the wave too hard, which a lot of players or good supports will be considering too. Hindering her, but this other regards to that is fine. Alright, we start the push, we're ahead. It does suck that Bran didn't get level 2 also. If he was level 2, that would have been much better for you guys. I don't know how he missed it, minion, but he's gonna hit 2 in a second.
I should have been hitting Xayah there, probably.
Well, Bran's only level 1, so you guys don't really want to go for a 2v2, but probably when she walks up, like right here.
Yeah, I should be hitting her at least once.
Well, I don't know, because Thresh is level 2 and he's got push control. Because you're both level 1, I mean, to be honest, if this Thresh was good right here, he'd have been right here in this bush. As soon as Brand's in the W on Xayah, he'd just walk up, flash flay, and Brand would be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you should be up here, because again, also, if you're up here hitting Xayah, you're putting yourself at risk. Because if Brand's level 2, yes. But because he's not, it's not ideal. Oh, it took him so long to hit level 2. Holy shit. What? Wait, why?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, honestly.
Where does he go? Why? Oh, he missed paths, and then he paths all the way back around. Okay, that's what happened. Alright.
Yeah, he missed like the first 3 melees, so that's why.
Your movement right there was good. You walked away from the bush as soon as Thresh went for it. Alright, now you have the priority in the lane. As soon as, like, you have to be able to see that, like, okay, as soon as this happens, you have a much bigger wave. You have priority. And Xayah is taking damage. Like, now is time to identify, slow push, thin this out real quick so that there's not a minion back here that you have to worry about. Thin this caster out probably, and you just want to, well, I guess they end up clumping up on their own, but okay, now we can position much more aggressively, right? We can just hug inside the wave up here, and Bran can also play up here too. And now they can't walk up at all, right? And then we're just going to wait until it slow pushes to them, until it collapses. We didn't want to queue this, right?
Yeah.
Killed it a little too quickly. Because even like 2-3 seconds, that's a lot of movement lane, right? Because this wave's now the melees are caught under the tower, and said they'd probably be like right here or even right here, which is out of tower range and is a big deal. Like that's huge, right? Those 2-3 seconds, big deal. This whole wave would be right here, and we would be able to we'd be able to sit behind this wave still and be already thinning this out, pushing it in for when this wave collapses, right? First of all, if we're ricocheting this already, we're hitting them both with Ricochet potentially if she walks into the wave. And we can use our Q, and Bran can also be a threat, right? So they're going to take damage, hopefully. If they don't, they're still going to... Like, if they don't take damage, if they don't potentially take damage, they're not going to be able to get these CS. They can't last hit, right? So pretty much it's going to be you wait till Xayah's wanting the last hit, or Bran waits till Xayah's going to be the last hitting, and then he just tries to W or whatever while she's walking up for a last hit, right? With this wave right here. And then you're pretty much the same as she walks up to last hit, you can throw a Q at her. poker if you have the mana for it. God, why is my eraser not working? If you but you do have to be sparing of your mana as Sivir too, of course. You don't want to put yourself too low on mana ever. Because Brand does get a lot of good damage out. But do you see like what the difference would have been if you had slow push? Like if you have a big wave right here, like Zaya's low, now she has to choose between this wave and recalling, and while she's choosing between that wave and recalling, now we have 3 choices, right? This is generally what happens when you crash to a tower. You then have the 3 options of you have like one, okay, can I reset for an item, right? Which is like if you have enough gold for it, which we might if we didn't miss a lot of CS, right?
Yeah.
Because one, she's stuck under this tower CSing, we're already recalling, and then by the time that our next wave is hitting her, she's just in this wave out, we're already in base, and if she wants to recall, first of all, this is a cannon wave, she's not going to be able to shove this next one in time. So either she recalls and misses basically the whole wave because it's going to be slow pushing, or she stays, gets the CS and stuff, but then she's now running the risk of when you come back to lane with 25 AD over her, now she can't fight you at all, and you're just going to be shoving her in a tower all game, not letting her reset without missing CS, right? And at that point, if even a jungler ganks, she's so low and she doesn't have the damage that a gank is hard for them. So this isn't really our option right here because we don't have much gold to spend. And then there's 2, which is just, of course, like vision, right? Oh, I guess, yeah, I would say 2 is your second priority would be vision, right? Which is the only reason we would get vision is because we're not resetting. If we're resetting, we don't need the vision, right? Because we're not going to be in the lane anyways. So number 2, one, we're not resetting, so we can vision, and vision can be tied with like vision plus roam, right? That's I did not that's roam. Yikes! But this would be okay. So we're not resetting. She's too low to do anything, or she's stuck under her tower CSing, and so is Thresh. And so we can just say goodbye, walk up here. We have the time because we have the slow push crash. We have the time to get a vision board here, or just a really good one is if you can get that wall like right behind, right like between blue and Gromp. Like just right behind that wall right there. That's a really good ward because you see their blue if it's up or not. Obviously at this point it's probably not up, but like you see the Gromp, and that's really common for them to path like from a reset down through here. No matter where they're going, they will almost always path like that, right? And then you'll just catch them right here to where you see, okay, she's either on Gromp, and then you see her go from Gromp down here, or she goes from Gromp to up here, which if you see her path upwards, you know you're safe, right? And you can start pushing again. But while you see her on that ward, you can just pretend like you don't, and you just keep pressuring, and then as soon as you see her move, or as soon as you see Thresh moving, you back up, because you know she's in the area. So they're like, haha, she doesn't know she's ganking, but you do. And as soon as they start making a move, you just back up. Or, obviously, coming with that vision comes, okay, well, if we're just on our way to get vision, and then their mid laner's overextended, and we have, obviously, it's kind of hard to do this with a brand, because it's just less likely. But if you have Alistar with you, Alistar can roam, but you can actually roam with him, right? Because you have a lot of time. You have time. You're not going to miss this wave. Even if you're mid and they start shoving this, by the time you come back down here, you're catching it under your tower, right? And you're not missing anything. And so you just gotta kill. You gotta kill mid. You got a lot of pressure mid, and you're still catching everything. So that can be tied with the roam, right? Because that's only when the opportunity presents itself. Or even if you're roaming up for vision right here, and you see a fight breaking out between jungler, mid, and top right here, you guys are already in position to just rotate up. You might as well. Even if at that point you'll probably miss some CS, but it'll be worth it because what you'll do is you'll fight this here, and then you'll just get mid anyways. You'll catch mid XP. You'll shove it with your mid laner, and then great, you can go bot afterwards, or you can just reset, cut your losses on bottom lane. You probably made up for it on the roam up here anyways. But this is just all possible scenarios. Obviously, I can run this forever. Third one is like, you catch jungler on scuttle with your support. You guys 2v1s the jungler really quickly because these two can't rotate fast enough, and great, you just won, right? You kill their jungler, your jungler's happy, whatever, or you find them up here, same thing. Or you just get the vision, come back. That's the most basic vision. It's just the roaming is kind of a bonus to the vision. Like while you're out there, you might see the opportunity. And then third, obviously, I guess, is like tower damage, right, or plates. And this is like only when we have true opportunity to. We can't go for plates without vision. We don't want to go for plates if the enemy's resetting, and we do have a reset because then they're going to come back and we might not be healthy, right? If Zaya comes back full HP, full mana, and we're like this, we're at a bit of a disadvantage because we still have a Doran's Blade, and she might have a longsword with it, which is still putting us at a disadvantage. So tower plates are really only like... Tower plating is not really ideal unless you kill them and you're still healthy or you don't want to back, or obviously if you just came back to lane and they didn't shove it fast enough and now you're catching this and they're stuck at a bad reset and now you can just come up and get tower plating while they're on their way back to lane, right? Plus, you only really want tower plates when you've already got vision down. Or you see their jungler's topside, so you know, like in this case, right, we wouldn't need to go get vision right now, so we could opt for tower plates, right? Because we see Nidalee topside.
Right.
That's the time where you want tower plating. It's like you know you don't have a threat on you. You don't have anything else to do. Let's just get tower plates, because obviously the tower plating gold is super good. It's just it looks a lot easier to get tower plates than it is. Like they're not. It's not that safe.
Yep.
It's your third option because you don't want to be caught under the tower. But those are pretty much the three options that I usually cover because, and that's what you want to evaluate as you're building up your slow push or whatever you're doing with your wave. You want to be like immediately evaluating that, like, okay, what am I doing after this wave crashes? Which one am I doing? I need to know because you need to do it quick. You need to execute on it fast, right? You're not wasting your time.
Right.
And then this is just a really bad spot for the wave to be in.
Yeah, I think that's why I shove it in, because I knew it was in a bad spot, so I just have to get it to reset anyways.
Yep. How did it even get to this? Oh yeah, okay, because Zaya's reset.
Yeah.
But this situation would be so. I want you to recognize that if this wave was not just right, so we were talking about this would have been a slow.
Basically,
this could be six more minions.
Yeah, I fucked up the initial push, and it pretty much kind of changed how the lane played completely because of it.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Also, what happens with the slow push is if you have 6 CS still here, and this wave is collapsing, even if you have like 4 or 5 CS, and this wave collapses now, this wave's much easier to push now because you have a lot more minion damage coming out on it. Yeah. Whereas if it's just you shoving this wave out, that's not enough, right? But if you've got this wave coming in, and you've still got 5-6 minions, and then this wave's going to collapse still, while this wave's still pretty healthy, then you're still going to have 8 minions, 9 minions for this next push, whereas for when it does collapse to tower, even though it took a long time for this cannon, and maybe Zaya even comes back to lane, you're still in a spot where we can recall now, and we should still be, it's not going to be perfect, but it's not going to be as potentially bad.
I think that was my idea here, but since I was poorly executed, I didn't have enough creeps to push it in fast enough. So, like, normally I wouldn't push a cannon wave like this, but I wasn't tracking that it was the cannon wave. So once it got there, I was like, oh, fuck. I guess I just push it in and then reset. But then this happens. I'm like, oh, fuck, now I got another one. So it just all, like, compounded on itself, you know? Like, fucking up the initial wave.
Yeah. I can see that. And then
plus my dog shit CSing. Like, if I had more gold when I initially fucked up the wave, I would have just recalled anyways and got a pickaxe,
right.
You know?
So even this reset here wouldn't have been, so this next wave wouldn't have been terrible, right? So this was after we, then this was the cannon wave, and then we still have a little bit of the cannon wave left, and this is the next wave. Even this reset's pretty okay, like, if we reset right now, because it's going to be 9 CS in our tower. This next wave, Zaya's going to come back. She's not going to be able to push this out she's not going to be able to get it to your tower before you're back to lane. It'll probably be like around right here, right? If you back right now, because by the time she's thinning out, you'll catch the whole wave, whatever. But we get greedy for tower plating now, which is bad, because we're not going to get this. Even if we do, we can't spend it now, because now she's going to be back in lane. We're stuck in lane with this tower plating. It did nothing for us, right? So instead, let's reset, let's get our advantage, and then let's use that advantage now to shove them in again.
Oh, I got that plating, alright.
Oh yeah, you got it. You're
Give me
right.
that shit.
You said fuck it. The first plate's actually pretty not bad to take. It's the fucking like third plate that starts to just get retardedly
Yeah.
hard. But see, like I mean, it's 80 gold at this point. We're still gonna get a pickaxe.
Right.
And that kill looks good, but now we're stuck in a spot where we have to recall and miss this whole wave, right? Otherwise we're risking if Nidalee ganks us, right? And we do know that Nidalee's gonna gank us, but
We had the ward. We had the ward there, and I didn't see it. Like my map awareness was.
Well,
shit,
this ward's
so,
kind of like this ward's too far to the right. You want it like up here.
like near where the blast gun actually is.
Yeah,
or...
you want it where it'll see this. It'll cover like that whole wall. So like you'll see any angle she covers jumps over. Because like she could honestly, I don't even know if it sees the blast gun, but she could still come from like. She could still path down here and you won't see it. Like if you ward it like right on the blast gun, if she does show up right here, like going through that like little path. I don't know, the little hill. You know which one? This one, not over the wall. Then you'll still see her go there, and you'll see the wall. But regardless, now like we have to. So if you choose to stay now, so now we have to choose between this wave and staying. And even if you stay, like now you're going to be stuck under tower for a long time. You don't have any sustain, and so like eventually Thresh comes back, and now they can dive you. Like Thresh, Xayah, Nidalee can dive you, right? Zen comes for the counter gank. Doesn't really matter just because we're so low, and Brand's completely. If Brand has a little bit of mana, this is better. But like Brand's completely owned, we should recognize that this is a bad fight. But that's pretty much just all because we agreed for the wave, and it's like this doesn't look like it doesn't feel like when you're playing it like, oh, we killed Thresh. It doesn't feel like, hey, we're pretty good. We got plating. We're in a good spot. But like you throw the lead. Like not throw the lead completely, but you do throw a good amount of your lead by not taking this reset where you had the lead like completely established, where you were already like stomping, and now you come back full on like with everything up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you can even if you reset now, we're gonna miss this whole wave. Which we have to, we should, we have to. We don't want to greed for this much CS. If you see Nidalee top, even like we still kind of need to recall, right? Because unless Zin's ganking, like if you see Nidalee top here or mid, and then Zin's coming for a gank, it's fine to stay. But like if you don't know where Nidalee is at all, and even if Zin's coming to gank, this is pretty bad. Because if she counter ganks it, we lose this, right? And that has to be weighed out. Which I know we did see Nidalee ganking. Yes, I'm just doing it for the like that situation, just for more than one scenario.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much the most important part to cover, because the rest of it's generally like the same concept, right? We're just shoving, slow push, whatever. And then generally it's most of the time you want to slow push, but like in this case, like let's say if you're in like a scenario where you're already under the tower and you see Nidalee top side, their mid laner still there, whatever, like you're safe. That's where you can just keep shoving under the tower, right? You can while your wave is already under the tower, like you've slow pushed in, you have 9 CS. Now you can just be hitting tower, and while Brand's poking them out, you can throw Qs, right? That's your kind of poke. And then as their wave hits right here, you're already shoving it out for your next wave to come in under their tower again, right? And then you're just establishing the dominance under the tower. And then, of course, if your jungler decides he wants to do anything in their jungle, you're in a position now to just rotate up and help him. But I think that's pretty much the same concept the rest of the laning phase, right? Is just keeping that in mind. Just knowing when do we want to slow push and just build up a wave, or even let it come into us, versus should we just shove it under a tower? And that's pretty much just completely based on where their jungler's at and what vision we have, right? Because we do have those 3 priorities that we always want to cover. First is vision, or reset. Second is vision plus roam, and then third is the tower plating. But alright, so do we want to move on to a next one? Or I guess I said I only have till 3. Fuck. I mean, we could cover another one really quickly if you want to, or if you just have other stuff you wanted to ask.
That's up to you if you feel like you have enough time to do another replay. But yeah, I mean, we just spent like an hour and a half on one. But I don't know. There was a Sivir replay where the game was over in 15 minutes. I like stomped, but that third one right
this
there.
One?
But yeah,
you stomped?
Yeah, I stomped because I know
That's
you. I know you said the last time we did a session, which was literally forever ago.
yeah, quite some time.
You said you eventually wanted to see a replay of me like popping off, but I don't. A 15-minute FF isn't really a pop off, you know.
Yeah.
Like I consider a pop off like I'm like 12-1 or something, and it's like a 35-minute game, you know.
Yeah, I'd agree. Because I mean, in a 15-minute, I mean, unless you're the reason they 15-minute FF, like, there can be so many factors into that. But I mean, we can just take a look at this real quick. I'm not gonna throw this in as a second session or anything. Just be the first still.
Okay. I guess just speaking generally as well, I kind of wanted
Hmm.
your opinion. I guess last season and preseason I was playing MF, but she feels kind of shitty now since like
Yeah,
the Dark Harvest like nerfs and shit. So
I've seen some people
um,
still doing pretty well on her with like the Bork into Yomu's build.
yeah, I do play that, but I just don't feel like it's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, it's like maybe 80% as good as it was, like going the press the attack Bork thing. So
Oh, do you always take spell shield
I
second?
well I did because it's Morgana Kate, so
Wouldn't
I
worry too much about
don't
that.
want
You
it.
don't worry about finding too badly here. If you were level 2
She
second,
took binding though. Like if she took pool at level 1, because should Morgana always be taking binding, or is there ever a reason to
well,
go
it
pool?
depends. I
It
think
depends
here
on.
pool would have been better for her because then they can go for like they can try to push more, right? Um, that's kind of what
Yeah,
it depends on. At the same time, she might think like, oh, we'll go Q into E, but if she has
yeah,
Q, right, she can't help shove this wave at all. So this is good that you recognize that we need level 2 first. We're already shoving for it. We have the priority. Um, if you're looking to just so against them, I don't think Q is going to be ideal because you're not really going to hit her with a Q. Like, and if you do, it's not going to do much damage. Like, you're not going to get if you hit a champion with a Q, it's a lot of damage if they're the first target, right?
right.
Otherwise,
But the
it's like nothing.
minions,
So
yeah.
like and if you're just if at this point if you're like okay I want to shove minions
So
your ricochet is going to do better at shoving minions because you're going to do more damage with the multiple bounces rather than if your Q will do like pretty much no damage to all the secondary targets, right?
yeah, I would say last season, even though I didn't play very many Sivir games, when I did, I was pretty much always going Ricochet. I don't know why I changed. I think it's because maybe I saw a couple games where pros went Q first, but they probably know, there's they know better than I do, like why they did that. So
Mm-hmm. I mean the Q is lower cooldown I guess, but like you can actually while you're shoving this your W's will actually hit Caitlyn here, right? Like your Q is not really going to hit the Caitlyn because she can just
yeah,
stand so far back. And I would say take W here just because you've already hit level 2. So like you should at this point you should realize like you're never gonna get hit by binding. It's like with the way the wave is, you guys can keep this going. Like you'll never be.
yeah,
You should always be behind minions now. You guys have already gotten priority. Like because you're Sivir, you can just keep you like again like when this wave's already on her turret, you just start Wing it and it's already gonna be pushing in your favor, right? They don't like I get the thing about Sivir is Sivir just counters slow pushing so fucking hard. Like
hmm
normally, like if you're I don't know, like Varus here, and you have this Nautilus, and they're the same lane, like they can just go to tower now and sit, and then they can wait for the slow push to go back. Because Varus, I mean, you don't want to spend your Q on pushing a wave out. It's not worth it, right? Like that's kind of
right,
poopy. Um, whereas Sivir, you're like, I don't care, just fucking W this, and then this caster's already half HP, so by the time your wave crashes now, it's already thin enough that like there's no way they build up a slow push against you, right? Because
yeah,
then your W, even if the wave does start going in their favor and it starts to get right here, because the cows are already so low, you just W it again, and now they're all going to die. Like now it's like okay, well that you just thin that out. Now the next wave is going to crash in the middle, which when it crashes in the middle, you can just start pushing it again because you're Sivir.
hmm
And so this was good. Both
yeah.
flashes were a
We
little
both
overkill, but that's
flash.
fine. It's fine. Better
Yeah,
safe than sorry here, right? Like this is really good. You guys hit level 2 power spike and you're instantly walking out. That's really good hit hook by Nautilus too. All right, we got the kill. We don't have anything to reset for, so we're just gonna shove, keep pushing. Nice bind or nice shield. Hey, the shield worked out. But
I
you should be using your Q
think
here. You should be using your Q to push this. You want this to shove the tower as fast as possible, and you're like full mana still. If you're like 100 mana, maybe yeah, don't use your Q because you want the mana for when Caitlyn comes back to lane, right? But in this case, we're not even going to be resetting or anything. Super good. Crash the tower again. We can get vision now. We should get vision now. Well, yeah, we should. And Kindred. So at this point,
I think it was because Kindred was hovering bot. I wasn't too worried.
Yeah. So Kindred,
she is still kind of far away.
Kindred's hovering for this scuttle, and you need to be ready. Like you guys already have priority. It's on the tower. You're not doing anything up here. You don't have vision. Like you can come back and start shoving this again if you ward up here, but we don't really know if their jungler's top side or bottom side. If they leashed, who is their jungler this game? I don't even know. You know?
Udyr, I think.
Is it Udyr? Okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
But pretty much, like, look what you're doing. You're doing nothing. You're just hovering back.
Yeah.
You might as well, if you're gonna do this, you might as well just hover like around here.
With Kindred,
that you don't have to even be on Kindred, but be like in between where you are now and Kindred, right? So then if Udyr shows up in this bush and you're like up here, you can be like, hey, I just found Udyr, and now Udyr can't walk up to the river to Kindred just because you're there. And if Udyr comes from this way and finds Kindred, you guys are already in a position to just be like, hey, back up, you know. Whereas if you're down here, you're not in any position.
I think it's because Nautilus pinged him top and then said he was top, so it's like Kindred's never gonna be in danger at scuttle.
Okay. So if you know Udyr's top, you should be shoving this in already.
Well, then Nautilus is like he starts farting around in the river. I don't know what he's doing. So. Well,
that's because Kindred was pinging assistance. Well, here he comes down. But if you're being aggressive, I don't know. It's like he went to ward and then he didn't have a ward or something. I don't know what he's doing either, to be honest. But granted, you can still be playing in a pocket where you're not in threat of Morgana, right? Like where right here. So this is fine to be backed up right here until this wave crashes. Then we're gonna walk up with our wave, right? Like you're doing, kind of, and then push. But we don't need to be backing up this far because Morg's up here. If we just go down here, we're fine. And then you can even just try to Q Caitlyn there. And then while you do that, because she's standing in front of these minions, you're pushing the wave and hitting her right here. This is a mistake from her. You're standing right here. Because you can Q her and hit the wave. You just don't want to take a lot of trade with her, obviously, because she's got the auto range.
I think I did it, but I did it too late.
Yeah, you actually do walk up to that. See, that's good. You're like recognizing it. It's just a little slow. And then exactly, so like there we go, dude. You know what you're doing. It's just a little bit slow. This is good, and actually what we want to do here now is probably go for slow push, right? Because as long as we're slow pushing, we can just kill him a melee here. You know, obviously we're not strong enough yet where we can just kill the casters, right? We know that.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much need like a BF sword and a pickaxe to do that.
So we're not in the position where we can do the casters or anything, but we are Sivir, so we've already got a little bit of damage on these. This one's already pretty low. We can just thin this out, and now we can just slow push. We can let Nautilus do his fucking thing. He can just control the bush down here, and now they're pretty fucked, right? And what you do is you just stand up here. You're not going to get binded or anything. You just don't trade with Caitlyn. Because if Caitlyn ever walks up to hit you now, Nautilus says, "What's up?" Right? So they have to be afraid of this bush. And if they ward it, then if they do ward this bush and you guys are aware it's warded, then you're going to be the one who wants to stand down here, and Nautilus is going to want to stand up here. Because at that point, it doesn't matter who's down here, and this is the safer area because obviously you have a longer distance from them, and if you're up here, you're kind of in the open to get hit. But whereas Nautilus can like just be zoning them around this wave, right? If you stand up here and you're just kind of hugging this wave down here, then if they ever try to walk up, to CS, you just what's up, just punish them, right? Not hopefully Nautilus gets a hook, but it does help. We do want to thin these out though, so that they don't have as much of a wave, so that Nautilus can pressure more. What the fuck is that hook hitbox, dude? Holy shit, man. What? Dude. This champion, man. Well, cool. That was half of her HP, and now we can just fucking zone her hard. Oh. Oh.
I'll blame that one. I'll blame that spell shield on my ping, dude.
Yeah. And at some point, once you've gotten a big enough lead on them, or like once Morgana's pretty low, or like pretty much once one of them is once you're in a spot where they can't want to fight on you, right? Is where you want to start to consider, okay, because I'm Sivir, right? This could, or because you're Sivir, you can always shove in and then let them slow push back, right? You can always utilize that. If you ever shove them in, you can always let them slow push back if you just don't hit the minions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you've got, because you have, right, this is a champion. This time we have a Nautilus, a melee support who wants a big open lane to try to fight, right? He doesn't want to be trying to fight going for hooks right here. It's just a little bit tough. Plus, if he does get the hook, it's not really going to guarantee a kill because they don't have much room before they're under their tower. So what we can do now, okay, Caitlyn. So they're both half HP. This is actually a good time to really consider it, and that especially after now. They're both half HP. Well, Caitlyn's obviously super low now, and Morgana's So now what we want to do is let's shove this to their tower. We don't need to reset yet. This is not a good reset, because this wave's still here. Alright, now we're just not going to hit this wave at all. We're just going to let them push to us. We're a little low on mana, but that's fine. You have a spell shield, you can get mana back, and all you really need is enough mana for a Q for a fight, right? Sivir's W is just an extra auto attack reset in terms of like when you're 2v2ing, your W is not that much damage. It's just a reset early on, and then your Q is obviously a lot of damage, right? If you in just 2v2. So what we can do now to give Nautilus his open lane, his recall is super bad too. You guys are this is so feels bad, man. You see this?
I think it was because I was close. I pinged my gold in the chat. I was close to BF sword, and then Nautilus just backed anyways. I knew it was bad, but
well, you
it's like,
still
what
don't
do
need
I
to back here. You can stay.
do? I 1v2
you
them
don't
here?
1v2 them. Well, you just don't fight them. So again, what you're gonna do now is they're pushing, obviously. Okay, even if they're not using spells here, fuck, God, stop moving your camera, dude. I just wanna look at the lane, man. But so this,
yeah, I mean, replay would probably be better here, but
well, it doesn't really matter. So if we're even just up here, right, and Nautilus is still up here too, it doesn't matter where you guys are. If we just last hit, because this wave is already collapsed from the last wave, this is going to slow push you, right? They're all hitting this minion right now, and your minions are hitting this one. Well, this one's going to hit this one. This one gets this one. It's kind of being weird. I don't know what your minions are doing. They're moving all over the place. But regardless, your casters and melees are splitting their damage, right? Whereas you can see these casters are all hitting this one, right? Because that's what happens when the first minion of this wave is going to collapse because it's single file line. They're all going to immediately focus the first minion, which is why a slow push builds up whenever it's coming like a grouped wave from their tower against your single file line wave. They collapse on this one. So you just last hit, even if these two aren't going to use spells, it's going to push to you. So what we're doing now is we're just going to let them slow push into us, and then we're going to try to catch it like right here, right? Because with how low they are and how out of mana Morgana is, once the wave is here, what are they going to do? They're just going to die. If Nautilus can now just be like, hey dudes, what's up? Like, ideally he controls this bush if it's not warded, and now because of this bush pressure, fuck, I swear I hit their race, dude. If he just controls this bush pressure right here, and their wave is sitting back here, they can't walk up here, right, at all. Morgana doesn't have any mana to save them, and even if she does at this point, like Caitlyn's so low that you just follow up, she's gonna die. So now they have to just be sitting there with a frozen wave on them. Your jungler can come, or this is how we get a hook, right? This is how we just play aggressively now. So we push them in until we got the advantage, or until they've gotten a little bit low on mana, and now once we have whatever advantage, now we just catch the wave over here and freeze it on them and go for a kill, right? So even if you just don't recall here, you can just be the one who will catch the wave. Right? You'll let the wave come to you, and then you'll just catch it right here. Granted, we get lucky. They pushed it slow as fuck. I don't know how they managed to push that slow. Like, what is going on? Did she start last hitting or something? No, she's pushing. But Morgana's not autoing. Okay, that's why. If Morgana was autoing this way, it would have crashed to your tower.
Hmm.
Oh, you're so far up in CS. Where was the CSing ability last game, dude?
This was a game I played last night,
Granted,
and this was already after I had like warmed up. I think like I had already played like 1 or 2 games. So
nice. So now you'd be like, oh, well, now I can freeze this still, right? Thinking about it, but the difference is Morgana has mana now, right?
true.
She doesn't care now. Like she can just spell shield, and Caitlyn's got mana and health, so it's not.
Yeah, I
really
probably
a kill.
should be shoving here so we have priority again in the river for Drake and Scuttle.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're just gonna come to lane and push you in now, no matter what. Like it's not gonna this freeze won't do anything for you anymore. Whereas like this is gonna take me a while to go back, right? If you stay here, if they see you staying, the reason that these two are resetting now or feel like they can reset is because you guys are gone. So what happens is if you guys just stay, they have to stay because if they recall now, then you guys shove them to tower, right? So that's why they feel like that's why if you stay and you show them you're staying, they're not gonna feel like they can back, or they shouldn't be able to back. Because if they do back, then you punish them for it, and then even at this point, if we're still going for this freeze and they decide and you see that they're going to recall anyways, okay, well then once they recall, once you wait for the recall and then you can just like shove it in and then come back, right? Or honestly, you wait for them to recall first and then well no because we want to push, so yeah, you just punish them by shoving it, right? And hopefully Nautilus shouldn't be recalling right here because if he's gone, like it's going to be harder for you to shove, but that's what should be happening, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we do want to be shoving this now, but like the wave is just so big that it's hard to shove it fast enough. But we can definitely, now when you come to lane, you should be trying to push this out for a little bit of priority. Because I guess we do get a little bit of benefit here in the sense that they were forced to miss a bit of CS because of this push, right? Like they missed that one, they missed a couple melees, they're maybe going to miss this one, they might even miss the cannon, right? Now we can just be pushing back for priority. We can't freeze this because we can't kill Morgana Caitlyn with level 4 Nautilus with a spell shield up. Because actually, when Nautilus level 6, he can pop Morgana's spell shield if he hooks and she shields it. All he has to do is press his E, and it's gonna pop her spell shield, right? It's unless she's smart and maxing it, and then he just pops his ulti after the spell shield's popped, then you can still fight that. No way this works. Okay, Kindred's here. Cool. Actually, where's his E at? Why is he not popping his shield? That was a really bad spell shield by Morgana, dude. Did it so early. And then Udir's here. Okay.
Platinum.
Yeah. Caitlyn? What? She's like, dude, she's rooted. I gotta get the trap off, man. I'm gonna walk right into them. Woo! But I got the trap though. What a monka. Well, good double kill. That was kind of. I mean, Caitlyn handed it to you.
That's them ending, yeah.
That was definitely Caitlyn's handing it to you. But get dragon, that's good. This is a good reset because this is still coming into you, or potentially frozen. We have our gold for an item. Caitlyn's still in the lane, and this next wave is collapsing, so she's not gonna be able to push all this in time, right? She's not strong enough yet, and she's just gonna slow push it in. Okay. I mean, she kind of has to. She at this point she should know that you recalled, but like at the beginning she can't push up because what if you guys just come from dragon on her, right? Nautilus, they should be flaming each other bound now. I mean, after that Caitlyn play, yeah, they should be flaming that Caitlyn, dude. So we can free this until Morgana comes to lane, or we can start to get the pressure priority. We don't really need priority at this point though, right? Because there's no dragon up, so. And at this point, you guys are so far ahead that even if they have spell shield, now you can just play the freeze because yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's still gonna die. So that's why I was saying last game too. Like right, you wait or earlier this game, you wait till you have the advantage, you wait till you have the lead, and then you freeze it on them because otherwise, if it's an even lane and you're trying to freeze it, they're just gonna be like, okay, well we'll just break that, and then at that point, if they then you're just giving them priority, and it's in a case where you don't need to be, right? Like you're not gaining anything from giving them priority. But like in a frozen lane, you can still rotate up, like to help your jungler, right? Like you don't have to be sucked in by the wave. It's just harder to go up because you can like it's harder to go up because
it's free gold versus potential gold.
If you're no. If they're right here, right, if they're already rotating up and there's a big minion wave right here, and you guys are trying to rotate to, if they just turn around right here, now you're getting pinched between their minion wave, which is because it's a freeze. Their minion wave is pretty big, right? So now they're just gonna fight you in this wave, and you lose that. Again, we're talking about an even where they I mean, if at this point, right? At this point, if it was frozen like that and they tried to walk up right here, you guys could still just walk up and probably destroy them, right? Granted, you know Uter's not in this bush, but if Kindred and Uter are up here, like kind of trading, and their bottom lane goes up, you guys can also just go up because we don't care. We're so strong.
Right? Yeah. So when obviously my laning is shit, like, so I don't have a lead like this very often, but when I do, should I always be looking to freeze it closer to my turret instead of just, playing the game where I shove every wave into their turret?
It depends on your matchup, right? This is only because you have a Nautilus. You have a Nautilus, and he wins the lane by having this big open space to engage in. Whereas last game when you have the Brand, like if you're playing this, if it was the same matchup, or Caitlyn against Brand Sivir, if you're freezing it on them, I mean, they just don't walk up to Brand.
Yeah.
Or they can spell shit. I mean, at that point, honestly, Brand's still a pretty good kill potential, so you could still go for the freeze with him. But Nautilus, the difference is Nautilus can't do anything under their tower, right? If they're full HP under their tower, he can't just engage on them with a hook. So at that point, it becomes only you who can like really zone them. Well, like if they're low on HP and you guys are strong enough to dive, and your jungler wants to dive them, yeah, you shove them in, you get the dive, right? But like it just depends on multiple things on the map, right? Like where's your jungler at? Where's their jungler at? Do we know? Like this is safe because it doesn't matter where their jungler's at. If they walk up and fuck up, we can just engage because their jungler isn't going to be trying to gank bottom lane when they're frozen on, because it doesn't look gankable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if we know, okay, yeah, we've already punished them, and now our jungler wants to gank them. I mean, even in this state, it's also they can't walk up because your jungler can gank them. Of course, that's also a priority. But like if you have Sejuani or Rek'Sai and you have a Nautilus support and your guys are shitting on them, then yeah, you can shove it in a tower and just try to dive them, right? Difference is in this elo, junglers just aren't as adept to like wanting to dive. They don't really understand how to do it, like execute it properly. So it's just better to be able to like win the lane off of just controlling it by yourself than having to rely on like your jungler knowing how to play. But yeah, that's like every matchup is just different. So I guess instead of talking about Brand, if you're like Nami Sivir, right, then freezing that up there might not do much for you because I mean Morgan can just walk up and W it, and then Caitlyn can walk up and Q it, and there's not much threat there aside from maybe a little bit of damage. Whereas Nautilus, they cannot walk up because he's just sitting here and he's ready to just hook them at any time, right? And then as Nami Sivir, Nami can actually poke them under the tower and sustain you a bit if you take a tower shot. Like if you get a greedy auto Q here or something, you take one tower shot back up, then Nami can just heal you up anyways. And she can also trade under tower, right? She can just W people under tower. She can get bubbles on her tower. Which if she just gets the bubble on her tower, that just means you get a free Q, right? So it's just that's about poking, or same like Zyra, right? What's Zyra gonna do back here? Nothing. Like freezing it as Zyra is not as detrimental as shoving as Zyra, because Zyra can just keep poking them under tower, and then eventually you're just getting tower damage over time, right? But not with a Nautilus, you can't really get tower damage when the lane state is 2v2, because that's where if you walk up under tower versus Morgana Caitlyn, all it takes is one binding, one trap, and you might be dead.
You're dead.
Whereas Nautilus, if you do get binded under tower, Nautilus can't do anything to really help you because, I mean, what is he going to do under the tower? He's just going to start tanking and die.
Yeah.
Caitlyn's dead, so this is good. Yeah, we want to show this guitar damage. Wait, did you guys kill? Yeah, okay, you killed. Yeah, let's skip that. Whoops. Boop. Caitlyn. Oh wait, this is
I think
actually
it's
this was a
he
really good play.
scanned and then
This is a good play. And you can do this all the time. AD carries are hella greedy, dude. They're like, oh, they're not in the lane. I can walk up. Dude, she almost saw you guys. Nautilus almost walked out too early.
Yeah. True.
So yeah, good kill. Now you can just shove this. And now this is the time to get tower damage, because even if the jungler comes, you guys are still 2v2, like full HP. Doesn't really matter. Oh. Oh, and a dive. Nice. This is super good. Yep, this is really good. She's gonna be dead. And you're like, give me the kill. Woo! And now we get this, and then Dragon's also coming up. I don't know. Oh, Rift Herald too. Oh, yeah, okay, this is fucking huge. Yeah, that makes sense. Why this is a 15-minute game, dude.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Go next. Yeah.
Alright, we took bot tower. Don't... God damn it, you're going bottom lane again, man. You got that bot lane obsession. Alright, this game, you'd probably want to go top here.
True.
Because their Aatrox, I mean, so what you think about here,
already gone.
What really, yeah, first of all, there's no dragon anymore. You guys already got that. Bot tower is gone, so there's no objectives bottom side. Second off, you kind of ask yourself, if their top laner is someone who has a lot of wave clear, right, you don't really want to go top lane, because even if you push the tower, you have Nautilus, you can't do much against someone who has a lot of wave clear, like, just for example's sake, like, Gangplank, you know, he's got barrels clear, and then maybe, like, Nico is pretty hard to push top against, you know, top Nico, or Victor top, Karma top. Just most of the time, top laners don't have that much wave clear. But like, you know, I'm just for the sake of, because this is what you weigh things off. If their top laner's got more wave clear than the mid laner, you probably want to take mid over, right? So then you can, because if you're not going to get top tower against their wave clear, you might as well go mid and get mid priority. And then even still, at that point, Garen can still go bot, and your mid laner can actually go top lane, because your top laner will still have TP. So that the TP player can still be playing around if Rift Herald's up or something, assuming that a top side objective is still up. And then, well, just because Zoe will also have a better time against Aatrox, right? Because he's melee versus range, as long as she's not stupid. And then Garen goes bottom lane and can just start getting a lot of pressure down on bot side. And then you guys get mid, and you guys can just keep shoving mid. Granted, if their mid laner has a lot more wave clear than their top laner, you just go to whichever lane has less wave clear, right? And then, so Aatrox right here would be pretty easy to go against, because you and Nautilus can pretty much just, when Nautilus has his ulti up, if Aatrox is still top against you guys for whatever reason, you guys just kill him. But this actually ends up, did they open or something?
No, they tried to fight us under the inhibitor turret. It got a little sketchy, but we ended up getting the kills anyways.
So, okay, so you went bottom lane, you just shoved that one mid. Oh, wait, you didn't even go all the way bottom. You just said never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, cool. We're getting a little bit of macro done.
Pepega.
Hog. And then mid. So this rotation's fine, but we just didn't want to start bottom. Going mid. Don't let the Caitlyn control where you go. You should control where Caitlyn goes. Oh, okay, and then he just gets a good hook. Nice. Wow, that was Pog. Easy. Alright, well that ended up working though, so whatever. But
yeah.
Ideally still, we go topside, because, I mean, this just, by their team, this shouldn't happen, right? And Veigar's got a lot of wave clear. Granted, mid lane tower is already gone too, so that's even less reason to be mid, right? Top tower is the only objective for us, so we should be topside. It worked out. Doesn't mean it was the most ideal. That was just kind of a solo queue. It worked kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Got him, dude. Yeah. Okay, wait. Zoe gets a triple kill? Pop. Wow, that was the stupidest Zoe triple I've ever seen, dude. And then right after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kills in lane were good, but I hope at least this I mean, even though this was a stomp, there was still definitely some things to cover, right? In just terms of how to control the lane better and how to set your Nautilus up for more success on um, getting hooks and getting kills.
Yeah.
But all right, yeah, that's all I do have time for. I have like 5 more minutes if you have any questions or want to talk about something, but then I gotta head out.